Welcome to PodReady, thanks to BNI Adelaide North, with your host, Simone Douglas. In this episode, we talk to Tim Scott from Stridr and BNI Elite.
So today, on our very first episode of BNI Adelaide North PodReady, we have the wonderful Tim Scott from Stridr, who is a member of BNI Elite, which is our number one ranking chapter in the region and still in the top 10 in Australia. And I'm going to be asking him the difficult questions that nobody ever asks about BNI stuff. So thanks for joining me, Tim.
Thank you. I didn't know we were number one. How exciting.
Well, I couldn't help but have one of my favourite members come on for the first series.
I'm on it.
Yeah. So maybe a really good question to start off with, I suppose, though, is how long have you been a member of BNI? Because I think it's good for people to understand.
Yeah, just coming up a year, actually. So
you're coming up to renewal. There
coming
you
up
go.
to renewal. Got the renewal emails.
Yeah, and so that's always exciting. So let's start by, if someone had said to you 5 years ago that you need to go to this networking thing, you're going to have to go every week, it's going to cost you a membership fee, what would you have said to them 5 years ago, not knowing what BNI is?
Well, I did have people mention BNI to me for a few years before I joined. I think I probably would have really underestimated the value of the people that you meet in the room. So I think, because it's hard to judge until you're actually in the room, the value that you have with the other members. And so, the time commitment, scared of that. One of the big concerns I had actually before joining was, could I bring enough referrals and visitors and things like that? But that seems to have taken care of itself.
Yeah, well, it's funny, once you get to know the people in the room, it becomes a lot easier, I think. So fast forward, so 5 years have passed and plus one because you're coming up for renewal. What has been the biggest surprise for you since joining BNI Elite?
I mean, not to harp on what I just said, but honestly, the quality of the people, I've got some really good friendships out of it. We're doing cool things outside of the business. So number one, it was really surprising how easy it was to build rapport in the room when you've got a really good quality room. And some of the trust, you get people trusting you with dear referrals to them, so people that are significant to them. That was really good. But definitely the caliber of the people in the room and the relationships that you form and the friendships and things like that, I think way surpasses what I thought it would have been. I thought it was quite transactional, and when you think of networking, even now, if someone asks me what I'm doing, I say, I'm going to a networking meeting, you sort of see that little bit of because you just get this impression of uncomfortableness and pushy salespeople and things like that. But it's really far from that, and I probably underestimated how much I just enjoy being part of the room and the social events and things like that. It's been really, it's been good.
The social events are pretty cool, to be fair. I think too, one of the challenges when you're talking about, the quality and the caliber of the people in the room. So one of the things that often people visiting or looking at a discovery session will say to me, those people are not my ideal clients. The people in the room, they're not the clients that I want. So what would you say to people that are assessing the worth of the room based on whether or not those people in the room will pay them money?
It's not about the people in the room, it's about the people they know. So it's really it's a huge difference. Just practically most of my income that we receive from the room has been through people referring me to people they know. You really don't know people's networks and things like that unless you sit down and speak to them. And so I remember the first few weeks when I joined, I was really surprised that someone would get up and, we do referral requests and things like that, and they would ask specifically for a certain person. And it's always surprising. There might be someone in the room who goes, I play golf with that guy, or we're a part of the same footy club, or we, and they can connect him to that. And you're thinking, you just don't know who the people in the room know.
No, you really don't.
I wouldn't be trying to measure it that way and trying to predict it that way.
So, what has been, or what is your favourite personal BNI story then?
Do you know what? Actually, it's probably what we've been able to launch in the last couple of months. A couple of members of our chapter we've got together and actually started a not-for-profit to help fund families living with disabilities. And that has been a really cool... So we met in the room. So we didn't know each other before joining BNI.
Yeah.
We did a couple of projects together where, they'd ring them up. Martin is a key guy involved, and he'd ring up and say, we've got this need, and, family... example is we had a family who needed a hydrotherapy pool. They had 2 kids with muscular dystrophy. Without this pool, there was a likelihood that the younger daughter would need to go through the surgery that the older brother would have to go through. It almost killed the older brother and things like that. And do you know what? We've been able to put together a group of people from the room, who own different businesses and things like that. And we've actually registered a not-for-profit. It's called the 1836s.
Yeah, I love that. You have to tell the story about why it's called the 1836s.
It's when we became a state.
Yeah.
So it's an Adelaide thing, an Adelaide business thing. But I thought, who would have thought that joining a networking group would lead to, people volunteering their time to put together something that's going to meet such a big need.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know it's not really a business story, but it's a very cool thing that happened because of our association with BNI. Cool.
And I think that is what makes BNI different to a chamber event or something like that. So I'm, a member of Business SA. I'm a member of a lot of business networking organisations, and they all have their place in the ecosystem.
Yeah.
So you want structured and unstructured networks and things. But the thing that I love about BNI is that you join and you make 30 new business friends, right? So we start off with business friends, but very quickly, because of the structure of getting to know each other better and what it is that we're all trying to achieve, those business friends turn into business family. And that's a whole different level of support. And you do stuff that matters and means something to you and makes you feel even better about the things that you do.
For sure. And you can do more. Everyone's got a superpower.
Yeah.
And when you've got a bunch of people and we've got this person, she's just amazing at organising events, and so she can handle the events part. I'm not an events person, I can't do that. Then we've got this person's amazing for doing raising money from digital things like that, and so when you've got a good group of people, you can do some really cool things.
And make the world a better place at the same time.
Make the world a better place. Live the dream.
Sounds cliche, but it's not. More people should be doing that kind of stuff. But on the flip side of that, I suppose, because, there'll be someone that listens to this podcast or watches the video and goes, I so don't have the amount of time that he just talked about, because it sounds like a big time investment. What advice would you give to the busy business owner? I mean, I know you thrive in being busy. I'm a bit the same, but the busy business owner that goes, I want to grow my business, but I don't have time.
Yeah, look, I mean, and you'll probably agree, it's a weak excuse.
Yeah.
It's a weak excuse.
It's a weak excuse,
you find time for things that matter to you.
You do.
We're talking, we get together for breakfast in the mornings.
Yeah.
Early in the morning, 7 a.m. So you're there from 6:30. It's like, what are you doing at 6:30?
Sleep.
You're sleeping. You're around the kids. So I think you've got to really do a bit of a time audit.
Yeah.
You'll meet people in the room that will help you structure your business in a way that you save time.
Yeah, that's true.
And if you can grow a little bit more, I know what it's like when you're scaling a business and you're juggling that tension between hiring more staff and managing your cash flow. It's like, well, actually, maybe another stream of income will allow you to hire the staff that means you're less busy. Look, we got people that run really large businesses with lots of staff and lots of moving parts and things like that. And, if it works for them.
Yeah, I like busy. I'm too busy is a weak excuse. I'm a very big believer in, if you, like you said, if you really want it. So if there's a goal that you're trying to achieve in your business and that's what you want, and that has a dollar figure attached to it, and you need new introductions and wider networks to do it, I'd take a punt. I'm biased. I found BNI when my business was 3 months old, and I started my business on a credit card.
Nice.
And now I have 3 businesses and 26 staff, and and that's all down to BNI.
Yeah.
Because it made it easy, because I could ask, I need to meet Jim Penman.
Yeah.
And I got that intro.
Yeah.
I wrote his I don't know if they still use it, but years ago we wrote the social media policy for the franchisees.
Yes.
And that was a referral from the pest control guy in my chapter.
Yep.
So going back to that thing you were saying about don't judge the value of the room based on whether or not the people can give you money.
Yeah.
Or, sorry, people spend money with you that are sitting in the room.
Yeah.
Because we don't sell to the room.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that makes sense. So, so we have your favourite BNI story, and we've got, you know, your expectations. Putting you on the spot, what do you think your BNI membership will be worth to you in terms of percentage of new sales in the next 12 months?
I'd say it'd probably be 30%, 30%. It's a chunk.
It's a chunk.
It's a chunk. It's how about I answer it this way? It would my hourly rate for everything we do BNI would probably be one of my higher hourly rates.
Oh, okay, got you. Yeah, and that's a really good way to look at it, actually. So, is there any advice then? So you're in digital marketing and you know CRM mapping and all of those kinds of systems and things. So if you were talking to someone who was starting out in that space, or even was established in this space, like I had one of my biggest competitors come to a discovery session last week, and I'm like, you should join, man. If you don't want to join, that's fine. I'll keep that money. That's all good. But you know, what advice would you give to them if they've been invited to a BNI meeting and they haven't gone yet?
Well, you got to go to the visit. You know, you got to make time for the visit and suss it out. I mean, look, the numbers you're probably going to try and make sense of it based on the numbers and be like, oh, will I get my money back? But that's really, the money will take care of itself. In fact, I don't know anyone who's been in BNI who doesn't make at least a decent chunk of not only their money back, that's a no-brainer, but it becomes quite a good stream of income. But especially if you're new to business, just jump in the room because you're going to sharpen your ability to speak about your business and clarify your message. And, you know, we do a lot of branding stuff as well. And it's... you'll be surprised at how much your skills increase from public speaking, talking about your business, knowing how to ask and clarify what services you want to upskill. Like your capacity, because not only is it an hour and a half, couple of hours each week looking to generate income, but you're in a room with other business owners thinking about how to improve your business, taking points from people that you see, learning things like that. So if you're new to business, you should plug in because it's like, you know, I've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on professional development and things like that, and what you get out of that room is
priceless,
really worthwhile.
That's very true. So on that note, and it's a good place to finish, if you could meet anyone that was listening to this podcast or watching it, who is your ideal introduction currently? Who are you really want to sit down and have a cup of coffee with?
I would love at the moment, with what we're putting together with these system solutions and CRMs for businesses, I'd love to sit down with Martin Hazy, who's CEO of Business SA, because I think what we can do in terms of offering a really good system that actually helps business owners run their business a heap better, manage their leads, make sure they're making the most of the leads that come through, I think we'd be able to do a really good service at scale.
For sure.
So Martin Hazy.
Business SA. Now, I'm pretty sure, Martin, that you will end up watching this because I'm connected to you on LinkedIn. So if you're up for a coffee with Tim, you could help a girl out and make some time. That would be amazing. Tim, thanks very much for joining me.
Pleasure. And, thanks so much for having me.
I will see you at your meeting really soon.
I'll be there.
Thank you for listening to PodReady. For more information about Simone, our guests, or BNI, please check the show notes for this episode.